Right again, folks. Today I'm going to be explaining how the Jade Harvester works, including the gear, the spells and the abilities, and where to set up your Paragon levels. So let's start with the gear. Right now I'm using the Sever just for kicks and giggles, really, just for fun. The Killing Blow that it provides, huge critical damage, but it's a critical blow, so it might as well be 1 damage. It's just for fun, really, nothing else. I just like this weapon because currently it's my highest rolled damage weapon, one-hander. I'm still looking for some other items that have elite damage on them, so this works for me. Anyways, of course we're going to have the Stone of Jordan. You want cold skills on as much equipment as you can because your main ability that does the damage is going to be Haunt. So you want cold on as much gear as you can, or if you can't get cold, get Locust Swarm or Elite damage or something like that. Of course, you have the Jade Harvester's Mercy. Then we have the Joy. Without this helm, this build would not work as efficiently. So you definitely want to have the helm. It's up to you if you want to put reduced cooldown on there, or if you want to have life. I used to run with life because I was having trouble in T6 survival. Since I've been running T6 for a while now, I've gotten used to it, so it's a little bit easier for me. So I just put the reduced cooldown in there so that we can reduce the cooldown on Soul Harvest. That's our main nuke. The Star of Whatever, that one rolled pretty well for me, so I'm using that right now. It also helps with all the fire damage that the elites are doing. So yeah, let's see. I've got the chest, of course. I got haunt damage on there. The strong arm bracers help a lot because of the 27% damage for the knockback. That works really well with the piranhas because after they land with the piranhas, that's knockback. So that's extra damage on top of that as well. We'll have the Ring of Royal Grandeur, of course. That's important because without that, I wouldn't be able to wear that mask. I have String of Ears. I do have a couple other belts that are much better as far as damage-wise, but the reduced damage from elite attacks by 30%, I feel, is pretty good considering I'm running on T6. So you want to get a lot of your damage reduction stuff on there, or at least anywhere you can when you're running on the high tournament levels. We have the pants, of course, the feet. This right here is also a must in my opinion. The 30% damage reduction is almost a must. I noticed that when I'm running without this, I'm dying a lot more often. That's one of the reasons that I'm using dogs, because without them, I would be a lot more squishier. So that's my gear. For Paragon levels, I have it split up between movement speed. I'm already maxed out at 25 with the 13% on here because I already have some movement speed on some other gear. What I would recommend is maxing it out though. Movement's always good. Intelligence, everything else just leave it as is. Offensive, attack speed does nothing for our build. Absolutely nothing. I've read up about it. If I am wrong, please let me know. But apparently the dots do not take any faster if you get more attack speed. So just put everything you can: critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and then cooldown reduction. You can also go with cooldown reduction first, and then something else, so that you're able to press the nuke button a lot more. It's up to your personal preference, really. I got armor and resist all maxed out, and then life. Again, more life, the better. Area damage. Area damage actually works pretty well because when I do use Soul Harvest, all that splash damage kills the rest of the guys around him. So that's an important one. Then resource cost reduction. Life on hit, really, I put it in here, but it's useless. I barely get any life on hitting as it is. I don't know why I put it there. Anyways, for the skills, I'm using Pierce the Veil, that's a must. We have Creeping Death, that's a must as well. Grave Injustice is a must, and Spirit is a must. So you really have no choices as far as I can see. If you can prove me wrong, please do, but those seem to be pretty prerequisite for T6. Okay, for our abilities, I'm using Spirit Walk with Honor Guest, I just like the mana region. You can use any other runes if you prefer, so there is some flexibility there. We got Piranhos for the knockback, of course, and also the damage. The 15% increased damage helps quite a lot as well. I use Tornado because it's nice and just bunches everything together. But keep in mind, if you're running with other Jade doctors, I don't think Tornado stacks. So what you want to do is have the other one maybe use Bogadile and just kind of switch it up that way. So let's see, Soul Harvest, again, you can use any of the other runes. I use Siphon because it's nice life, you know, back to you every time you move. And it's a lot more than 24k. So the dogs, I'm using Lifelink, so, you know, that's 10% damage reduction, you know, on top with this 30%, so I'm already taking a lot less damage. So that's kind of a must for me. But you can go with something else if you prefer, you know, the life on hit dogs, you know, or something like that. It's up to you. For Hunt, I'm using the Resentful Spirits because it releases 2 spirits per cast. In my opinion, that's the best one. Again, you're going to be spamming Hunt like a madman everywhere, so less time you can spend, you know, spamming it, then the better you'll do as far as running the T6 faster. Locust Swarm. Locust Swarm, I'm using Pestilence just because it spreads like wildfire. You know, I actually found that, you know, if you're good at spamming Hunt, you might be able to replace Locust Swarm with some other ability, because I really, you know, don't use Locust Swarm that much, especially when it comes to elites. You gotta have your Haunt. You'll find that Haunt is your main damage dealer. So I'm gonna work in the future and see if I can replace it with something else, or see if it is replaceable, because they'll give a little bit, at least some flexibility in the build, because right now it's very inflexible build. There's not too many things that you can change up. Alright, so let's do some bounties, just to switch it up so we're not running risks all day. We'll do Act 4, because it is the fastest in my opinion. Oh, by the way, I'm not using the Unity Ring. If you look at this guy, there is no Unity Ring, so what you're gonna see is me just surviving with, you know, my regular gear. No funky stuff going on here. As you can see, I already almost died once. So Spirit Vessel is really, really a lifesaver. Literally. Stand fire.
I think the world is safer now.
Usually the shrine spawns in a couple places. I check here first because it seems to spawn there, at least for me, a lot more often than anyone else. And no, it's not here. Back. Usually I stop only for elites, or if there's too many mobs around. The chances of elites dropping legendaries and bounties are pretty high, I actually found. It actually sometimes feels higher than rifts. So I actually don't mind running bounties at all. fail that one, visibly. So what I'm doing here is I'm fishing for crits, because the way that witch doctors work is when you got crits, then the rest of them crit. If they don't crit, if the first one doesn't crit, then the rest of them don't. So that's really the biggest downfall of the Jade Doctor is fishing for crits. Like right here, this guy I'm having real trouble killing him just because like he healed up before I could.
Aid me. Need more mana. My curse upon you. Returning to town.
Never wanted to see this demon squalor again.
The spirit aid me. I need mana. My curse upon you.
I never wanted to see this demon squalor again.
They don't know what I'm doing here. Down with it. This is where the homing paths would be lovely bugs. Oh.
Been rebuked.
The slowdown effect on Hunch really helps. These guys drop your dots. So if you notice, you got them once, but then he drops it, which makes them very difficult to kill if you don't time it just right. Man, where are these guys?
I strike at your heart. Your heart.
The laser's still here. Nice, these guys.
Not ready yet. Need healing.
Right. So 40 me, right, 40 me. Ah! These guys are really scary.
Needs more time.
If only I had a pocket knife.
Needs more time.
So yeah, as you can see, my amulets really helped me out here because those meteors that guy's dropping hit like a ton of bricks, and without that ammy, I would I'd be toast. So yeah. So that's what she's saying. So yeah. Great. Diablo. The hard part's not killing him, it's finding him. Let's see if we get lucky.
I strike at your heart. Not ready yet. Need help.
Ah. least.
Your gate, come.
Watch. I will explore 99% of the map only like on that last 1%. Freaking no, yeah, lightning gives us some problems.
Need more time.
It's gonna be on the other side of the staircase.
Need more mana.
Ah, there he is. Yes, of course. Of course, of course. Alright, let's go fishing. By the way, I really don't like that part of the build. Like, the whole fishing for Kristen, I really don't like it. It's a must, really. You know, it gains quite a lot. If you don't get the trails, so, yeah.
Only by defeating us can you return to your own realm. But none have ever crawled from the depths of their own terror. How tastes your fear, Neverland? You cannot defeat your own terror. Need more time. Does it feel knowing that fate knows how to hand it on you? How tastes your fear, Neverland?
I'm glad my shadow doesn't have a Jade Harvester, or I'd be in trouble. grab popcorn, watching the animation. Alright folks, so that was T6 Bounties, Act 4. Let's see if I get any legendaries. Usually I do get 2 legendaries per run.
Well done.
So this might be just an unlucky run. Yeah, nothing. Oh, there's that. So a couple things about the Jade build. I know everybody's always screaming nerf, you know, the build. Things to consider. It took me a very long time to get all of these pieces, and they're all very, very, very specific. So, you know, you have to get extremely lucky just to get the 5 sets, then, you know, get the helm and the bracers, and, you know, the rest of the stuff that allows me to survive, you know, in T6, like the necklace, you know, the mojo. So, you know, I did have to work pretty hard for this. And I know some people are saying, hey, you know, oh, you know, we're not saying nerf this, buff other classes. And I do agree to some extent. I have played on T6 with all of the other classes, and I can tell you one thing, that wizards and barbarians are pretty close to witch doctors. You know, barbarians are tearing it up with their earthquake builds, and wizards, I don't even know what they're doing. Things just die. So they're good. I've run with demon hunters. They're doing excellent as well. Really, you know, I would say to Blizz, give some love to the monks. That's the only class that I see that, while they can run T6 no problem, they do really poor damage. Really, really poor damage. They need to give them some sort of skills, or, you know, just really just buff their damage. That's about the only thing I see about monks. Crusaders, I've seen them do some scary things as well. I don't know what some of these guys are running, but things are just blowing up. So really, you know, once you get to end game T6, when you have somebody who's collected a lot of this gear, it should be understood that they're capable of doing these things. You know, end game is end game. They wouldn't have made T6 if it wasn't meant for you to run it. You know, I just like people to think about, you know, how long it takes to get this gear together in order to get it to work. You know, this is not like Shard of Hate, one item that, you know, buffs your whole character, you know, and now you can do a couple T levels above what you used to be able to do. This is, you know, all of these items combined together, really, which take a long time to get. And that goes for barbarians, that goes for wizards and everybody else. You know, those guys that are turning it up on T6, they've all worked really hard to get their gear. So yeah. Anyways, I'll make more videos if you guys request. This is my first video, so I'm not very good with this. Hopefully as time goes by, I'll get better. Okie dokie.